A very good morning to all of you. So, because of yesterday's mic problem, as audio was not recorded, so I am going to redo that portion so that we can record it properly with the audio. So that I am going to upload it today also. So, just is going to be a revision for the yesterday's part. So, yesterday we hope discussed about the types of rays in detail. If you look at this diagram, so these diagrams you must have to practice. So diagrams must be neat as it is appearing now. Sometimes it has been asked or it's been required from you to write about the types of trees as a part of the other questions. Like if they will ask you to explain about the modes in planar guide. So in that case, you need to explain about these types of rays also. So you're supposed to know something about these types of rays. So this is the diagram which is showing the front view and side view of the optical fiber with core and cladding, along with showing a neat the path for the propagation of a optical ray. The front view you can see here in the first figure, it will be indicating a single ray is entering at a particular point. So just I will enlarge it so that on mobile you can see it. Yeah, now you can see. So on laptop it appears to be a little bit blurred. On on mobile, okay, it is a correct one. Now you can see you may be observing the cursor. The ray is striking at a particular point one on the core of this fiber. Then it will undergo TIR. Obviously, TIR will not support for these Q rays. Otherwise, it could have achieved the meridional ray type of propagation. It is undergoing simply the reflection from point 1 to point 2. That is on the sorry, another point 2 on the wall of the core. Then it will undergo another reflection at point 2 and reach another point 3 on the wall of the core itself. Again, it will undergo another multiplication reflection. So with the multiple reflections, the wave is transversing from point 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and it will go like this. The side view, if you look at this one, no, it is going to achieve this path of the propagation for the skewed. So that's why it is known as a skew. Very randomly, it is going to change its direction of propagation. And one important thing you have to remember here, this path is always confined to the boundary or to the wall of the core. It is not going to cross the fiber axis. You can see here. Fiber axis andre middle point of the core, center of the core. It will never cross that axis. So that's why it is going confined as if confined to the cylindrical wall of the inner wall of the core. Okay. So this is about how we have seen the skew ray is going to take the path of propagation. Sorry, it's either spiral or helical in shape. So whereas in meridional ray, It is undergoing total internal reflection when it is going to strike at point 1. So look at this one. So when it is going to strike at point 1, it will undergo TIR. That is not supported in case of skew rays. And obviously, it is going to cross the fiber axis. Fiber axis here you can see it is shown by dotted line. It is crossing this axis and reaching another point to opposite side of the or wall of the core. Again, it will undergo TIR, go for a second time reflection, reach point 3 on another side of the wall of the core, inside wall of the core. So like that it will continue. So this is coming under bounded meridional ray. So another one that we are getting is a single ray. It is not undergoing any TIR or any kind of reflection or refraction. So this one ray is totally going through the fiber axis. That is known as the axial ray. This is the first time we are coming across. So totally there are three types of rays are there. In summary to tell here, one is a skewed ray, which will achieve the random path. Second one, meridional ray. So its path is defined there. And axial ray, which is totally neither reflected nor refracted, totally just passing through. You can see the front view. So it is just passing through the fiber axis through this point. That's what is known as the axial ray. So if you look at the characteristics of all the three types of rays, so that's why we can say skew rays are going to be very difficult to mathematically characterize the optical rays, because if you say that if my optical rays or my information is transmitting like this, then it becomes very difficult mathematically to describe how much information will be contained and where it is contained, how much it is lost, and why it is lost. So all these things are questionable at the receiver side, and those are answerable only by characterizing this kind of behavior of the optical rays inside the core. So this is very much important to understand the dynamic behavior of the optical rays inside the core. So why? Because that is going to decide actual how much amount of pure information you are getting back, whatever you have sent. You sent 100% message means we are expecting 100% message to be received. And if at all not, maybe 95% if you are getting, so where 5% has gone, who will be held responsible? Core, cladding, a transmitter, a repeater, or optical fiber, who will be held responsible? We want answer for that. We need to characterize for that. We need to understand the characterize means what? We need to describe the behavior of optical rays, how they felt during the all the journey from the transmitter to the receiver through the optical fiber. So the only reason here why normally we are not using skewed rays is because of the mathematical computations compared to this meridional ray. So meridional ray, you can see here, you can just draw 2 or 3 straight lines here, like that, a set of straight line segments. It is very easy to describe straight line segments geometrically in the mathematics. We can infer some information. It will become very easy to characterize the optical information inside the core. So that's why for most of the discussions, meridional rays are assumed. So if you look at this axial ray, this is neither reflected nor refracted or any kind of distortion is there or not, we cannot predict here. We cannot properly describe here. So these are the some pros and cons of these three types of rays, optical rays. So let us jump into another major part for today's discussion, that is modes in planar guide. So this is a very milestone in this model 1, a very important point that we are going to cover today. So many times we got the question on this one. So two main points now we are getting: modes in planar guide and modes in cylindrical guide. So modes means what? That we have to see. Planar guide means the waveguide or optical waveguide is rectangular in shape other than circular, and it is bounded by the Maxwell's equations. So whatever the Maxwell's equations you have studied no, in the EM theory, which are going to govern for the uniform plane wave propagation, are going to holds good similarly here also for the light wave propagation in the similar aspect. So that is a planar guide. So whereas in cylindrical guide, Maxwell's equations are not going to hold good. Even they hold good, it's something like you are assuming skewed rays. It will become mathematically difficult. Why we can see after this one planar guide. Okay. Now we'll cover first modes in planar guide. And if you listen here, many key points I'm telling here. And today I'm going to post another second quiz because audio is now recorded. You can see and listen the video again and again, and you can easily attempt the quiz. So quiz timing will be scheduled, and looking at the attempt made by the you people in the quiz one is only 20 plus students. Even Google Classroom, many people are, some people are missing there. They are not joining still. Don't know what is the problem. Already the credentials have been posted in the WhatsApp group, personal WhatsApp group, FON WhatsApp group. So try to join the Google Classroom and personal WhatsApp group, FON subject WhatsApp group, and try to attempt these quizzes as more in number as possible. Will help you to explore your knowledge, because I know that many people may not be having the textbooks, Kaiser or a senior. So one hint I just want to give: you can search for these books on the so Google. Just search it out. Last time I searched there, don't know, some part of the things I got it as a PDF. Don't know. I'll just see there, check it. If some PDF things are available, I'll just share it in the Google Classroom. Otherwise, you just see it, search it in the Google. What I am getting, you also get it there. So coming to the modes in planar guide. So we have to understand two things here: mode and planar guide. Planar guide, already I told, it is a rectangular waveguide. It is similar to the rectangular metallic waveguide, but only thing now metal is not there here. It is optical fiber, but it is molded in the form of that rectangular shape. That's all. So next, going to see this one. So modes means what? Roughly, I have discussed in some of the previous classes that it is going to indicate a number of rays you are transmitting. That is not actually the correct definition to relate with the mode. So now we are going to transmitting our information, that is electromagnetic wave, modulated by the optical these photons. That is actually what we are going to call it as intensity modulated wave. Andre ಏನಾಗ್ತೈತೆ? So if you are taking a single optical ray transmitting in the core fiber optic core, that is actually the core is made up of glass or a fiber, some kind of material will be there. It is not a conducting one. Of course, it will support the PIR. That is a sole property of the optical fiber. So what is happening here is that your information is not in the form of current or voltage. It is in the form of a set of photons transmitting as an optical ray, governing inside electric and magnetic field components. ಈ ಫೋಟಾನ್ಸ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾವ, ಈ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಕಾಂಪೋನೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಒಂದು ಓರಿಯಂಟೇಶನ್ ಇರ್ತೈತಿ. ಅವನ್ನ ಪ್ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಿರ್ತಾವ ದೀಸ್ ಫೋಟಾನ್ಸ್. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋನ್ ಆಸ್ ಫೋಟೋಫೋನ್ಸ್. ಫೋಟೋಫೋನ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಫೋಟಾನ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾರಿಂಗ್ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ, that is information. So these photons are carrying these phones or information. How? By preserving the orientation of electric and magnetic field components. You just recall in your mind that uniform plane wave last part electromagnetic wave ನೀವು ಕಲ್ತಿರಬಹುದು. ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಕಾಂಪೊನೆಂಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಇರ್ತೈತಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆರ್ಥೋಗೋನಲ್ ಟು ದಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಕಾಂಪೊನೆಂಟ್ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಎಚ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಇರ್ತೈತಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಆರ್ಥೋಗೋನಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಈ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಅಂತ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರ್ತೈತಿ. ಅವು ಎರಡು ಕೂಡಿಸೇ ಒಂದು ಎನ್ವಲಪ್ ಏನ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾವ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ 3-dimensional ಥಿಂಗ್. ಈಗ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಎಚ್ ಇತ್ತು, ವೈ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಇ ಇತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ದು ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಜೆಡ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಇರ್ತೈತಿ. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಯು ಪೀಪಲ್ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್. ತಿಳಿತಲ್ಲ? ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಜೆಡ್ ಈಸ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ದಟ್ ಓರಿಯಂಟೇಶನ್. ನೀವು ಎಕ್ಸ್ ವೈ ಒಳಗೆ ಏನು ಎಚ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಡಿ ಇರ್ತಾವಲ್ಲ, ಅವು ಹ್ಯಾಂಗ್ ಓರಿಯಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾವ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಆರ್ಥೋಗೋನಲ್ಲೇ ಇರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಮ್ಯೂಚುವಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ಲೂಸಿವ್ ಇರ್ತಾವ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿರ್ತಾವ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತೂ ಇದೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಸಪರೇಟೆಡ್ ಬೈ ಸಮ್ ಆಂಗಲ್. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅವು ಎರಡಕ್ಕೂ ಆರ್ಥೋಗೋನಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರೋಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ವೇವ್, ಇಫ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಟೆಲಿಂಗ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಬಿ 3-dimensional. Whatever may be the orientation of E and H. Orientation of E and H ಹೆಂಗ್ ಬೇಕಾದಂಗಿರ್ಲಿ, ಅವು E and H ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿರಲಿ ಓರಿಯಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರಲಿ, ಅಥವಾ ಈಸ್ಟ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಓರಿಯಂಟೇಷನ್ ಆಗಿರಲಿ, ಅಥವಾ ನಾರ್ತ್ ಈಸ್ಟ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿರಲಿ ಓರಿಯಂಟೇಷನ್ ಆಗಿರಲಿ, ಅವು ಯಾವ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಓರಿಯಂಟೇಷನ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾವ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೋಡ್ ಅಂತ. ಅವು ಯಾವುದೇ ಪ್ಯಾಟರ್ನ್ ಒಳಗಿರಲಿ, ಪ್ಯಾಟರ್ನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೇನು? ಓರಿಯಂಟೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ E and H ಕಾಂಪೊನೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ಅವಕ್ಕೆ ಆರ್ಥೋಗೋನಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಇರ್ತೈತಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ನೌ ಯು ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್. Mode means it simply represents orientation of E and H field components which are actually carried by the photons all the way from transmitter to receiver through the core, fiber optic core. Okay, now coming to this multimode. Multimode means let's first complete the single mode. Single mode you can easily understand. Single mode ಅಂದ್ರೇನು? ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ಓರಿಯಂಟೇಶನ್. ಓರಿಯಂಟೇಶನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ಯಾಟರ್ನ್. ಇನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಪ್ಯಾಟರ್ನ್ E and H are oriented. ಈ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಲೈಕ್ ನೀವು ಅಪ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ, if I will say 1 3 5 7, so what next two numbers will get? 9 and 11, like that. Some pattern will be there, odd numbers you are getting. In the similar way, I am telling there is an orientation of E and H field components, but this orientation is following single pattern, single pattern, single mode, multiple patterns, multi-mode. That's all. One pattern corresponds to one path. You can see here, single mode fiber allows propagation of light ray by only one path with one unload pattern throughout from transmitter to the receiver. So that's why we can say comparatively, if you go to multi-mode, there are multiple rays are there with the different patterns. Ray 1 having one type of pattern or orientation of E and H field components. Second ray adjacent to that one having EH and field components with orientation in a different pattern other than the first one. So this mode is going to differentiate these different light rays and will help to carry more than one type of information. So this is the basic difference between the single mode and multi-mode fibers. And because of this basic reason only, single mode, as it is going to support only single ray, single orientation of EH and field components, its mouth, the core diameter will be kept very small. Cost of manufacturing, that's all. ಅವ್ರೇನು ವಿಚಾರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಒಂದೇ ಮೋಡ್ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದೈತಿ, why you have to keep its diameter very large. So they will keep it very small. Whereas multi-mode ಒಳಗೆ multiple modes you have to support, multiple information you want to transmit here in this case. So manufacturer normally thinks of we have to multiplex or club a lot of different types of light rays. You have to keep its mouth a little bit wider than that compared to the single mode. So diameter is larger compared to the single mode. And this itself will become the drawback for the single mode. What is the drawback? Smaller diameter. Smaller diameter ಇದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತೈತಿ, less light will couple. ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಮಿಟರ್ ಲಿಂತ್ರ ನೀವು ಆಪ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಫೈಬರ್ ನೀವು ಲೈಟ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಕಪಲ್ ಅಂದ್ರ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡು. ಇಂಟೆನ್ಸಿಟಿ ಮಾಡ್ಯುಲೇಟೆಡ್ ವೇವ್ ನೀವು ಕಪಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಮಿಟರ್ ಟು ಆಪ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಫೈಬರ್ ನೀವು ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಕಪಲರ್ಸ್. So that coupling efficiency will be decreased because the mouth of the core will be kept very small, diameter will be kept very small in case of single mode. So that's why its efficiency will be less, coupling efficiency compared to multi-mode. Okay, so these are basic things you need to remember in mind whenever we are I will say that single mode or multi-mode fibers. So another aspect I want to discuss in this modes in planar guide is about the step index and graded index fiber. Yeah, here it is there. Yeah, step index fiber, here you can see. So is it visible on the mobile? Just will enlarge. Hope now it is okay. Yeah, you can comfortably see now. Keep it this side. So core is there having refractive index N1. Okay, and outside cladding is there with refractive index N2. ಇಷ್ಟು ಹೇಳಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದಂತೂ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತೈತೆ, N1 is little bit larger than N2 to support TR. ಇಷ್ಟು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ತಲೆ ತೆಗಿಬೇಕು, ಅವರು ಹೇಳಿ ಬಿಡ್ಲಿ ಒಟ್ಟು ಇಷ್ಟು ಹೇಳಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ನಿಮ್ ತಲೆ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ಬರ್ಬೇಕು. In what you mean by this step index profile? We know that core is made up of one type of material throughout, and it is having its own characteristic that is represented by the refractive index N1. Similarly, the cladding is made up of another type of material, and it is having the other kind of a refractive index slightly less than that of N1. So like that, as the core throughout the whole its length is made up of a single type of material, its characteristics will be remaining same from transmitter to receiver, and obviously its refractive index will also be remaining same throughout the length of the core. Similarly, applicable to the refractive index N2, which is going to remain same throughout the length of the cladding. As N1 is a little bit larger than N2, you can see here N1 is a little bit larger. There is step increase. Okay. So core length cladding change ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ core cladding interface ನಾಗ there is a sudden decrease in refractive index. You can see here. That's what is known as the step index 5. There is a step decrease in index of the refractive index of the refractive index we are observing at the where at the core cladding interface. ಯಾಕೆ N1 large ಇತ್ತು, N2 small. ನೀವು N1 ನಿಂತ N2 ಮುಂದೆ suddenly you are falling because N2 is less than N1. This sudden fall is known as a step, indicated by step, and refractive index suddenly decreasing, or when you run from cladding to core suddenly increasing. So this step variation in the index that will bring us the name step index fiber. That's what is indicated by this rectangular sign, step index, step waveform. 2a is a diameter of the core, and N1 and N2 are the indices of core and cladding. This is about the step index, and mathematically you can see it can be represented like this. That is a refractive index as a function of r, the radius of the core. As long as you are inside the core, that is r less than a, its index will be n, and if you cross this radius is more than a, that is a core radius, you are in the cladding and you are in the refractive index of n2, like that. Mathematically how we will write. So it helps to have the zigzag path for meridional rays to satisfy our optical fiber communication. Normally, the typical dimensions you should remember when you are going to explain comes in 50 to 80 micrometers. The cladding diameters up to 125 micrometers. So another type in context of this graded index fiber that is coming along with the step index. So the only difference here is the construction of the core. Now the core is not made up of a single material as it was in case of step index. Now in order to support a gradual variation in the refractive index, from the wall of the core to the center of the core, that is fiber axis, where this fiber axis is passing through. Okay, from the wall of the core to the center of the core. At the center of the core, fiber axis is passing. So we want there should be a gradual increase in refractive index. That is our demand. Sometimes we want gradual decrease of refractive index. So accordingly, the core material should be composed of. Because of the gradual, so whenever you want a gradual variation of refractive index, one thing you remember, one material Cat6 is represented by one refractive index. If you want to change the refractive index continuously, then you want to have multiple materials. If you want gradual increase in refractive index, means you want to tie together different materials having rising refractive indices. Or if you want to have gradual decrease of refractive index, or if you want to have dip in refractive index at the core, center of the core, then you have to your core should be made up of layers of materials having different refractive indices with a decreasing refractive index. Now you can see dome shaped now you are observing. So here there is a gradual increase in refractive index, gradual change in refractive index. It is gradually increasing from the wall of the core and reaching maximum at the center. So accordingly, you have to assure that core should be constructed or manufactured by the layers of materials with increasing indices. So that's how we can see the the nature of the index profile is in the parabolic shape. And before that, in the cladding, it will be N2 that is less than what we are encountering in the core. So that's what is known as a graded. Graded means gradual index fiber. Gradual change in index. That is a graded index fiber. Okay. Now, how it could be mathematically indicated. So this is the equation which is going to govern this parabolic profile of the refractive index in the core. This equation in terms of the radius of the core. And its coupling efficiency, that is a graded index fibers, coupling efficiency is telling that it is less than that of the step index. Why? Why the coupling efficiency of the graded index fiber is less than that of the step index fiber? One thing you can say, because of a gradual increase in refractive index from the wall of the core to the center, will make the optical ray not to achieve TIR. Because we know one thing that whenever medium changes or material characteristic changes or indices changes, try to listen here what I'm telling, the key things. Refraction phenomenon, how to occur? Refraction occurs whenever ray propagates from one medium to another different medium. And here you can see the core itself is made up of layers, different layers of different materials. How can you expect TIR here? Refraction occurs. Obviously, the coupling efficiencies will be less. Maybe supporting TIR, but not so much as it is in the case of a step index. Now, that's how you can see the coupling efficiency is very low, 50 or 62.5 like that. So 50 coupling efficiency graded index fiber is used for the long haul applications. So here you can see long haul applications, and 62.5 is optimized for the LAN applications. So on the other hand, this is about the coupling efficiency with respect to both step and graded index fibers. Coming to another one, the bandwidth. Graded index fiber, they are telling it is going to support a large bandwidth compared to the step index, because it can support TIR and refraction both, and it is useful because of the gradual variation of the refractive index. will support the multi-modes. So like that, we have seen two aspects here as a part of discussion of modes in planar guide. Single mode, multi-mode, step index, and graded index fibers. So in the nutshell, we can tell that you can see here comparison table is there. Step index single mode or multi-mode, graded index single mode or multi-mode. Like that, we can categorize different types of optical fibers or modes in planar guide. So this is the comparison table. I want you to practice this one. So this what actually I wanted to cover uh, in detail with the audio to be recorded. So next we can discuss quickly another important concept, that is phase and group of velocity. We all know that till now intensity modulated wave means nothing but it is a combination electromagnetic field components and photons. Photons are actually helping us to carry these field components. So within electromagnetic waves, so we will come across the one word that is known as a plane. Okay, electromagnetic plane or plane wave we can tell. Hope you might have came across this word. So plane, it will indicate a three-dimensional space in that whatever the points you are getting, at each point will be having the same phase value. In simple words to tell. Understanding? Plane means a set of points having same phase. And the surface is going to give us the name that is known as a wavefront. Okay. The surface provided by the points in the plane is known as a plane wavefront. Okay. Now coming to here, what is the problem with this optical rays? So practically he is telling that monochromatic light waves propagates in a z direction normally. That's why I told if E and H are in X and Y, information is there in the z direction with a constant phase travel. So single, he is telling monochromatic light wave. Monochromatic means single light ray. And is now telling that it is traveling with the phase velocity Vp, that is indicated by omega by beta. Angular frequency divided by the phase constant beta. It is impossible in practical to produce a perfectly, this is the practical difficulty, because in theory we are discussing that single light rays traveling in the z direction and we are indicating its phase velocity by omega by beta. That is the difference between practical and theoretical. But practically we are having this limitation, very difficult to generate this one. So and light energy is generally composed of sum of plane wave components of different frequencies. So what in conclusion is telling that as it is practically difficult to generate single chromatic light wave, it doesn't mean that single light ray. Monochromatic. Mono means single. Chromatic. Chroma. The word it is coming from the Latin relating to color. wavelength, single wavelength light. It is very difficult to produce. That's what it is telling. So that's why practically what will normally consider, instead of having single wavelength light waves, so why we go for having the light waves having multiple wavelengths or frequencies. Okay. So normally the situation will come across. So where group of waves with closely similar frequencies propagate, so that the resultant forms packet of waves. What we are trying to resemble here, we are not leaving our theoretical concept of monochromatic light waves just because it is not possible to practically generate it. So what we are trying to trade off or compromising here between the our theoretical monochromatic concept and practical multi-wave components. We want monochromatic light waves in theory. So practically we'll trying to do the same thing using multiple wave components having similar frequencies, not same. You can see here. So practically ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಇವೇ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ವೇವ್ ಕಾಂಪೊನೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ತೋತೀವಿ with differing wavelengths but slightly, so that we can say that almost on an average ಅವಕ್ಕೂ frequency ಸೇಮ್ ಉಳಿತು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ನಾವು ಉಳಿತಂತ ಅಜ್ಯೂಮ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಒಂದು ಇದು ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ಗೆ ಬರ್ತೀವಿ. So that's what he is telling. Often the situation exists where group of waves with closely similar frequencies. This is important. On an average ಸೇಮ್ ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಉಳಿತೈತಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ಒಂದು 10 ವೇವ್ ಕಾಂಪೊನೆಂಟ್ ನೀವು ತೋರಿ, 10 ವೇವ್ ಕಾಂಪೊನೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದ್ರದ್ದು ಒಂದೊಂದು ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ನೀವು slightly different, sub difference ಇಡ್ರಿ, 0.1 0.05 like that, and if you take the average you will get the same frequency across, means similar, not exactly same but similar frequency will get. So that will give us to achieve theoretical single wavelength light, that is a monochromatic light. Understanding here? So if you say that monochromatic light wave new propagating means a set of wave components with the differing frequencies are transmitting. If you see here, if you look at this figure, the things will be more clear. The thick line, it will indicate one wavelength, one wave component, and dotted line, it is indicating another wave component. And if you see there, their wavelength difference is not differing much. This is what we are telling, and they are altogether transmitted as a monochromatic light wave, and its envelope generated by these wave components that is going to give us the plane wavefront. Okay, so this wave packet does not travel at the phase velocity of individual waves. ಈಗ ನಾವು ಹೇಳಿದೆವು ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ವೇವ್ ಪ್ಯಾಕೆಟ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತಾವ, ವೇವ್ ಕಾಂಪೊನೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತಾವ. ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಕಾಂಪೊನೆಂಟ್ ವೇವ್ಲೆಂತ್ ಬೇರೆನೇ ಇರ್ತದೆ. Hence they will achieve different velocity also, and they travel differently also, but not differing by much. So that's what he is trying to tell here. ಇದು ಒಂದೇ ವೇವ್ ಫ್ರಂಟ್ ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ತೋರಿಸ್ಲಾತೇವೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. Only one envelope we are showing here. It is not single envelope. It is altogether all these different wave components are traveling together, and it is known as a group velocity. That is Vg, differing by small omega and small phase constant dou omega by dou beta. So the group velocity is very important in studying the transmission behavior of these optical light rays inside the core, and it normally related with the propagation characteristics of the wave packets that what we are observing as a light inside the optical fiber core. If the propagation in an infinite medium of refractive index n1 is considered, infinite medium, you know that what do you mean by infinite medium? Not having any boundary, not bounded. It is having single refractive index. In context to that, the phase constant is redefined. We all know this formula, n1 omega by c or n1 2 pi by lambda. So with the assumption that the propagation in the z direction only, then cos theta will become 0. That is cos of 0 will become 1. So using the first equation of the wave theory, we obtain the relationship of the phase velocity with the refractive index of the infinite medium and light velocity as Vp equal to c by n1. They are inversely proportional. Phase velocity will increasing with the decrease in refractive index of that infinite medium. That you have to understand. Okay. So this I have observed this particular context, what your concept, what you discussed. Phase and group velocity is very much important. The short note has been asked many times. Hello. Okay. So today we have seen types of rays, modes in planar guide, and phase and group velocity in detail we have discussed. So based on these things or up to this whatever I discussed, so another part is there, that is a modes in cylindrical. Let me complete that also. So modes in cylindrical waveguide, how it is going to be differing compared to the modes in planar guide. So this is, guys, Maxwell's equations. Whatever the boundary conditions satisfied by the Maxwell's equations in the planar guide are going to be the limitation in case of cylindrical guide. It is because of its hollow structure and rectangular coordinates are not going to be supported here. Instead, cylindrical or spherical coordinates to be supported. And all we know that uh, how much it is difficult to analyze cylindrical and spherical coordinates compared to the Cartesian or rectangular coordinates. And this will lead to the development of different modes supported by cylindrical guide compared to the planar guide. Multi-mode is very heavily supported by the cylindrical guide compared to the planar guide. So these modes are actually represented by both the fits here in case of cylindrical guide compared to the planar guide. EH or HE modes we are going to call. So two lowest order of these modes are represented by TE01 or HE11. In detail, not to worry, we are going to study these modes in detail later. Right now, briefly, we are observing the modes in the cylindrical guide. The first thing what we observed, how significantly the cylindrical guide is going to differ from the planar guide as an aspect of Maxwell's equations are concerned, and that itself is going to amply supporting the modes compared to the planar guide. So the main thing in this case of the cylindrical guide, the order states the number of field zeros across the guide. The electric fields are not completely confined within the core. They do not go to zero at core cladding interface and extends it to the cladding. So one important behavior of these modes, what we are observing in case of cylindrical waveguide compared to the planar guide. Planar guide ಏನಿತ್ತು core cladding fixed and you are assuming meridional rays and modes are also fixed. We are not going to support multiple modes. So comparatively here in cylindrical guide, the lower order mode actually concerned with electric field near the axis of the core along the fiber axis. And it will goes on decreasing when it will start decreasing from center or fiber axis to the wall of the core. This is the nature of existence of the lower order mode. So these modes, HE11 or TE01 modes. Higher order modes will normally exist at the edge of the core. Therefore, cladding modes are resulting into the power loss. So in leaky modes, the fields are confined partially in the fiber. Normally, the higher order modes which are confined to the wall, and they are going to pass the cladding core cladding interface. There we are going to lose the information. Normally it happens in the higher order modes. So therefore, in order to retain the modes and to be guided inside the core, so this one condition should be satisfied. It doesn't mean that the higher order modes are at the edge of the wall of the core, they are resulting in the loss of information. We cannot use it. We can make it to use by satisfying this phase constant. Okay. So the cladding is used to prevent scattering loss. That is another aspect apart from the phase constant controlling. We can use a different type of cladding that will result into or brings down that loss what you are going to get. Okay. So today we have seen types of rays, phase and group velocity, modes in planar guide and modes in cylindrical guide. Modes in planar and cylindrical guide, not to worry, no issues. We are going to deal with these two things very much in detail later parts. So the next class, we are going to see these concepts, what you have learned so far. I want you to be thorough with these things. Together, we are going to see step index single mode, step index multi-mode, grade index single mode, grade index multi-mode, along with some derivations like cutoff wavelength, mode field diameter, effective refractive index like this. stop the session.